Hi all. In this session, we'll try to understand what is AWS WAF and Shield, why it is used and why do we require it, and what are the benefits of integrating that is web application firewall as well as Shield to your application, how it is going to benefit you from keeping miscellaneous or vulnerability of injections or the threats or the bugs. We'll go and try to understand first with the WAF and Shield. Okay, so this is the agenda, and we'll go and try to cover all these topics. And in this session, probably I could not able to show you people in practical since the WAF as well as Shield is associated with pay as you go, since it's not comes under free tier. But still, I will help you with the configuration how we can go with it. So we'll move on. So what exactly is WAF? So AWS WAF is that is a web application firewall. So it's a firewall before sending or allowing any request to your server. So initially it will check for all the incoming request and their header, from where it is coming, are they accessing frequently, everything. So their base data will be mapped. Okay, so it's a managed service that protects your web application from common web exploits and vulnerabilities. So vulnerabilities such as SQL injections, cross-site scriptings, and bots. So we cannot expect the attacker or the intruder how he is going to exploit into the application. So whether you can go with the SQL injections or cross-site exploits, or you can develop the bots, or you can send APK files or the PDF files, any kind. We cannot expect, right? So to protect your web application from all these attacking methods, so it's recommended to include that is web application firewall. Okay, so you are giving protection to your application here by using the WAF as well as the shield. And SSL or the certificate manager is provided to keep data secure even while transferring. Okay, so it will allow you to control and monitor HTTP or HTTPS requests to your applications and block miscellaneous traffic based on custom rules or pre-configured managed rules. So here we'll go and we can define our own set of IP range if you want, and you can restrict all those IPs or the request coming from those IPs, like that. Okay, or you can customizely allow all only requests from those IPs and block rest of the requests from other IPs. That also. So we just understood what exactly is WAF. So it's a web application firewall. So before getting into the server for processing of the request, so initially the filtration process will be done. For that, we call it as a firewall. And what kind of firewall we are providing here? Application based. That is web application. Okay, so why AWS WAF is used? So protection against web threats. So that is prevent attacks like distributed denial of service or the SQL injection, and that is the cross-site scripting. Okay, so that can compromise your applications or infrastructure. So if any one of these attacks, if compromises your web application security, so there will be huge data loss, as well as it might cause of crashing down the infrastructure too. So by integrating it, we can protect both your application as well as infrastructure. Next is customizable rules. So offers the ability to create tag and rules specified to your application's needs. So we can customize complete trafficking. Okay, so in which network or in which IP only the request should be received and all we can maintain. Next is integration. So works seamlessly with, since we will be using within the AWS ecosystem, so we can integrate with other AWS. services. So if you're going with the edge locations, you can go with cloud font. If you're going with the EC2 and deploy your application through the load balancer, you can go with the LB, or if you are deployed on the Lambda, and you can integrate that with the API gateway from there also you can. Next is cost efficiency. So save time and resource compared to implementing the custom web. So instead of creating our own script for protecting your application by writing the script to protect against these vulnerabilities attacks, so it will be more complicated, and oftenly we need to maintain the scripts too for keep upgrading the code for more security. So by opting the AWS service, so it will save time. So you need not to spend time on creating all those things. So everything is taken care by the AWS, but only thing you need to go and integrate with your application. That's it. And compliance helps meet compliance standards like PCI DSS G. So these are all the security protocols. So where it is compatible with it to provide the more security to your web application. And so we have already understood the why, and is complete more deep dive into the why of AWS WAF. So that is the advantage. That is we just come across enhanced security since it's been taken care by the AWS. You need not to worry about maintaining the patch of the application regularly. And scalability, so automatically scales to handle large volumes of web traffic. So here, since we will be going with the load balancer, so it will going to take care of handling the request. On top of that, we will be placing the WAF. So on top, above the load balancer, the WAF will be placed. So that is the initial screening will be done. So no matter what kind of traffic is coming, so is it easy to use, manage rules and intuitive dashboard, simplify setup as well as management. So it's quite easy to integrate with your application. Next is that is flexibility. So custom rules allows fine-grained control or allowed and blocked requests. Next is we can detail monitor of logs using the cloud watches. Next is we all know that we can integrate with other services, and it is cost effective. And now, how exactly it is going to work? So web traffic monitoring, that is web application firewall inspects incoming request to your application and rule of evaluation. So how the filtration will be done in the firewall. So requests are evaluated against your configured rules like allow, block, count. So if it is allow, so it will allow the traffic. If it is blocked, so it will check for the IP range. So if we have predefined it, so it will check whether the request is coming from that IP. If it is coming from that IP, it is blocked. And count logs traffic without affecting it. That is useful for testing rules. That is, so how many times they are visiting and what kind of data they are accessing, all those things. Next is action. So based on the rule evaluation, WAF takes the appropriate action. So the rule evaluation based on the action, that is here we need to define in the actual action what should be happened. So in rule evaluation, we just mention these kind of things, and from where we want to implement these evaluation rules, that is on action. Okay. Next is logging and metrics, that is CloudWatch. Will be going with it. So here we have some example, and we'll try to understand if possible. So assume that you have a web application deployed on your EC2 instance. On top of that, you have integrated the load balancer for managing the traffics. Okay. So to load balancer, now you require to integrate the WAF. Since any request coming outside to your server is coming through the load balancer, and it is not directly prompted to your server. Since we on top of server we have placed the load balancer. Okay, next is that is web ACL, that is access things or in AWS WAF and add manage rule. So here we will be adding the rules. So what kind of rule So we'll go and try to see if possible I can able to show you people through the visual things, but I won't be creating anything. Fine. So here you need to manage the rules like block, allow like things, and define the custom rules if you have, and block traffic from specific IP range. So if you have specific IP, you can block it. Allow traffic only from specific countries. So we can go with the region wise also. Associate the web ACL, that is access control list, with ABL, sorry, ALB also, and monitor the things. So how exactly it will go? A user will send the HTTP request to your application. So first it will come to web, that is web application firewall. So it evaluates the request against the rules written in the web access control list here. Okay, so whether it should be allowed, or it should be blocked, or it should be considered for captcha, any kind of things. So if it is validated, so if the request matches the blocking rules containing the SQL injections, that is, it will going to scan complete data. So that is the header of the request will be scanned in header, from where it is coming, from where it is going, and what kind of data it is carrying. Everything will be scanned there. Okay, so if it is found, if any miscellaneous things are found, unavailability kind of things, it will be denied. If not, legitimate requests are passed to load balancer. So next, the load balancer will redirect to that request to the service, and it will revert it back. So this is how exactly the workflow will work. So anyhow, we understood the concept of protecting our web application. Fine. So, but we need to provide additional security. How we can able to provide it? Okay, now we'll go and try to look into that. That is AWS Shield. So we know that to protect a web application from being attacked, so we were using the WAF. But when we are going with the other things instead of bugs, so that is the denial of service. That is, the intruder or the attacker will send 1 lakh request in a time at once, so that even the application load balancer cannot able to handle so much of request at the time. So those need to be handled. For that, we require the application shield. Okay, so that is why you can integrate these also for enhanced security of your application. So we'll understand the AWS Shield is a managed distributed, that is distributed denial of service protection. So especially the Shield is designed for DOS, okay, service offered by the AWS. So it safeguard your application hosted on the AWS from DOS attack, ensuring minimal impact on the performance and availability. So AWS Shields comes in two tier. One is standard, it's a free, and if you are going with advanced, it's a paid one. Okay, so why AWS Shield you use? So it will protect from denial of service and availability assurance. So since there will be huge requests are prompted within a minute, so on that time, the Shield will process the request and make sure the application is available to the proper end user by allowing the exact user and by denying the unwanted service, that is denial of service of attack. Okay, next is seamless integration. So we can integrate with the cloud font and route 53 elastic load balancer like things. Next is cost optimization. So prevents the cost associated with miscellaneous traffic spikes during the things. So when there is a traffic spikes happen, only on that case the production will happen, right? So only the duration of that spike will be charged if you are going with advanced. If you are going with free, so there is a quite minimal request processing handling will be allowed. So this is the quite advantage of things, that is automatic protections, that is Shield standard provides automated protection against most common attacks at no additional cost. So if you want to track it in real-time visibility and protect supports, on that time you need to go with the advanced. and it's a global coverage. Protect application across AWS global network. So it is not restricted to any of the regions. So it's a completely global with a low latency, integrate with AWS infrastructures, offering protections without added latency. So without any delay of accessing the application, so it will process within the fraction of seconds or the milliseconds. And cost protection. So since you need to choose wisely. Okay. Next is real-time insights. Offers attacks, diagnostics, and detailed metrics. So from where it is coming, who is trying to access everything. So the cybercrime will come under like this of tracking all those things. And 24 into 7 monitoring systems. So that is the major difference between the standard as well as advanced one. So how it is going to work? Shield uses AWS global distribution infrastructure to detect and mitigate denial of service attack before they can affect your application. So it works with multiple level. So initially we need to detect, right? So monitor traffic pattern in real time to detect anonymous. That is the on the day of launch, only the attacker wouldn't go and exploit the application. So they will take some time and they need to understand what kind of algorithm they have used in security, everything. So for all those things, it's required the time to explore. So during that, the monitoring of traffic pattern will be done and identify both volumetric and application layer attacks. Next is mitigation. So automatically blocks. Mitigation is nothing but taking the actions against the route. That is automatically blocks miscellaneous traffics while allowing legitimate traffic. And uses techniques like rate limiting, traffic rerouting, packet filtering, everything. And next is reporting the attacks. So this is how we can set up the thing. So say, assume that you have deployed your application in EC2 on top of ALB, and you are integrating the shield to the uh, cloud fund distributor for denial of protections. So enable by default. So by default, the basic protections will be given. So just would recommend to go with the advanced one if required. So enhanced protection against sophisticated attacks and financial protection against attack included cost increases and real-time insights. And we can watch same things over the CloudWatch also. Workflow. So a denial of attacks floods the websites with the high volume of request. So the intruder or the attacker will send the high volume of request within the fraction of seconds. Okay, so the AWS shields detects the unusual traffic pattern. So previously the shield haven't come across any kind of this kind of request simultaneously. Okay, so in that case it found to be anonymous things, so unusual traffic pattern, and automatically mitigate the attack. Okay, next it takes the actions and blocks it. Shield stands, that is the standard block basic attack like sync flood. So while sync advance, that is this shield advance mitigates more complex threats, that is application layer attacks. So if you want go with the application layer, then it would they recommend to go with the advanced one. Okay. Next is legitimate users continue to access the website without any interruption. So this process will be bypassed to the end users. That is, this shield will be taken care by processing all the unwanted things, and later on, legitimate. That is, the other users can continue to access the application without any downtime. So this is all about the AWS WAF as well as Shield. How you can go with it. Okay. So once you have deployed your application in EC2 instance and attached to load balancer, so there on you just go and type WAF. So under one roof only you can able to make our both web application firewall as well as Shield. Okay. So since I am not I don't going to do any practical things. So just I go and show you people how exactly it is look and how the configurations can be done. Okay. So next, if you want to configure the shield, so by standard, that is standard shield will be provided during the application load balancer. So if you want to go with the advanced one, you need to pay, you need to require to pay this amount, that is $3,000 per month. Okay. So see here, last 2 weeks summary. So larger packets attacks. So these are the regions where attacks has been happened recently. The data they are providing here. So since it's a global one, they are providing. So we'll go back to WAF and we'll try to create it. That is, I won't be creating, but just for your understanding, I am going with the step, and lastly I will report it. Okay. So if you want with the regional access, that is, if you have the cloud font distribution, you can go with it, or else you can go with the application load balancer. Since you have deployed your application on EC2 instance, on top of you have integrated the ALB, right? That is application load balancer. So you can just go with it, and in which region your application is being deployed. So you need to select it here. So you need to select the region here and name this application, that is web application firewall, and provide the description, and based on the name you provided, the CloudWatch matrix name will be appeared here. And here you need to associate the load balancer, or if you have deployed under the load balancer, you just go and deploy, that is integrate the ALB, or if you have deployed your application in Lambda and trying to access through the API, you can just go with it. And if you have deployed in your Cognito or GraphQL, so that is okay. Just you need to select it, and it's mandatory one. Okay. Okay, so now the add rule and rule group. So you need to add the rule here. So what kind of rule? Add my own rule, add managed rule. Okay, so for that also we will be charging. Okay, see here. So account creation, fraud prevention. So it will going to validate what kind of things, and you need to add like this. So this is the rules. If you want, you can add that, and there are many things here. You need to select accordingly. Okay. So here we have like what kind of action to be taken, whether to be allowed or block, or we do can create the custom also. And token domain list, if you have token things, you can generate it also. If token not found, automatically it will be reverted like things. And if you want to create the custom rules, and you can go and select the IP sets where you can create here. Okay, and the rule builder or the rule group like things. Okay, okay. So for IP set, initially you need to come here and create what kind of IP range you want it to allow or block, and you need to set up here. Then same can be accessed here. Okay, see here. So whether you want to allow block or count, you want to uh, that is initial before logging, you need to allow user to enter the captcha as to verify it as the human, like that. Okay, so here you need to create the IP set and just provide the name and description in which region you want it, and here you need to provide the IP. So that IP will be either blocked or it will allow. Okay, and post that you need to just add the things like this. Okay, and set the rule policy, many kind of things. Cannot move further without adding these things. And the statement, if a request that matches the statement, whatever the things we have done here, if it matches what should be done, here you need to take who should be accessing like HTTP method, and what exactly the match method should be like of thing. We can go with SQL injection like this. Okay, so this is how we need to go with and set the rule priority and configure the metrics, that is for log maintaining thing, and review it and create it. That's it. Okay, so that is how we can go with it. And if you want to integrate WAF with your application, this is the prices. So before you go and create, so have a look on it. Hopefully you have understood the concept of WAF and Shield, why do we require it, and how we can integrate with our web application. And by integrating with the web application, what are the advantages we will get it, and the cost wise also I have shown you people. So thank you for watching this, and if I got any opportunities, definitely I go and show you people with the demonstration soon.